In this video, we're going to take a look at the bevel tool. I'm going to focus in on this fence section here, and we want to look at the very top of it. So we'll zoom up to it here. This section here, I want to round it off instead of having it be this flat top. So to do so, we'll ultimately be adding a bevel, but first I'm going to get rid of some of this extra geometry that will get in the way of my bevel. So I'm going to select all of those edges there and choose Delete on the keyboard to get rid of them. And that's going to leave me with some n-gons there. I'll switch over to my modeling toolkit. And if you don't have that tab down there, you can just hit this icon right here. That'll bring up your toolkit. And we'll go to Target Weld and switch to Vertex. And we'll just weld these vertices to the corners to get rid of those n-gons. And we'll just repeat that all the way around our surface. That gets rid of that. And I'm going to switch to Edge here, and let's select these two edges. And we're going along the center there. So I'm going to select these two edges, and let's lift these up a bit. Let's raise them up to here. And with those selected, we'll add our bevel. I'm going to choose Edit Mesh, Edge, and go to Bevel. And we'll just use our standard default tool options here and then make changes through the channel box. So I apply my bevel and lost my shader. So let's just choose our default material here for this viewport and switch to channel box, poly bevel. And now I'm going to add some segments here. Let's go ahead and add 6 segments, and you can see we get a nice rounded top to that now. But I want it to be bigger. I want it to come all the way down to either end here. So it just rounds that off and doesn't come to quite a cone like it currently is. So we're going to go to fraction here and middle mouse and drag. And you can see that will drop that down or raise it up, and we can affect how that bevel fits within that surface. So that creates a nice rounded section there. And let's jump on down to this piece here, and we're going to add a bevel to it. Currently, we have very sharp edges on this particular piece of geometry. So we're going to add a bevel to make those look a bit smoother. I'll go to Edge, double click to grab the entire row, and we got to do this 4 times here. We grab all of the loops going around or extending across the entire surface. And we'll go to Edit Mesh, choose Bevel. Now that adds that division there. But let's add a couple extra. Let's see, let's bring this up to, we'll try 4. And again, go to fraction, and we can raise that up a bit to create that smoothness. So the larger that fraction is, the wider that smoothness will affect. And let's soften those normals. There we go. And so now I have a nice smooth or soft rounded edge instead of that hard edge that we started with. Now we have another use here for our bevel. We can actually create some things to be a bit more intricate. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the post, and we'll go to Edge, double click and get that whole loop there. Starting to accumulate some history, so before I continue, let's just select that and let's delete our history. And okay, so now we're back to our edge loop there, and we'll go to Edit Mesh, Bevel. Pretty standard stuff here so far. And if we add a segment there, it makes that look nice and rounded, creating a nice transition there from that once 90-degree angle. We could add more segments to make that look a bit more rounded. I'm going to leave that at 4, and then what we can do is change this attribute right here, this auto fit. I'm going to take auto fit and turn it off, and that will then open up my ability to use roundness. And now if I take that roundness into a negative value, we get a different design there where it's actually pushing the bevel into the surface. And that's what that auto fit allows us to do. We can also take that roundness and extend it past the 0.5 value. Jump into our attribute editor. And let's try here. And I'm just going to push that up there. And really what we need to see, there we go, is if we turn on our legacy attribute here, then we push that out. Let's go to an extreme here. There we go. We can exceed that roundness and get more of like a piping decoration that would go around the base of our post. And we can do that here with the roundness value, either pushing it in or pulling it out.